Young with Ruby's Diner, a proud sponsor of the buy local WYSH 1380. We invite all of you to come and try some good home-cooked food at Ruby's Diner at 400 Main Street, Oliver Springs.
This is Rhonda Jackson at Jackson Funeral Services in Oliver Springs. We're a proud sponsor of the Buy Local program. Call us for all your funeral needs at 435-3800. I don't think I got close.
Hello, I'm Barbara Deal. Deal Small Engine has been advertising. Participate in the Buy Local program, and Deal Small Engine can give you the best prices on your lawn equipment. The Buy Local program allows you to spend your hard-earned dollars in your community, so your tax.
Yeah. Welcome to the Locker Room Chat. Glad to be with you this evening. As you can see, Ron Berry is not here tonight. I think he's got a new grandbaby somewhere in Chicago. What?
I know you're going to immediately trash him. You always do this.
Yeah.
Every time you ask me to do this.
Oh, yeah, I do.
All right. He has went so far. No, wait a minute. Give me a chance to do that. He's always got me a call-in order at Starbucks. I stop by there, but usually it's ice because it's warm weather, but it's cold. I don't know how he knew this, but he got me a heated one tonight. It was ready for me.
Well, I was really hoping he'd be here tonight, so I'll use you for what I was going to do with him tonight, because one of my main topics thanks, Ron. One of my main topics that I talked about last week and we talked about this last week, going into where the Lady Vols were going into the tournament, and the question was asked, when do you think they'll get beat? I said, I don't think they'll make it out of the Knoxville region.
He had high hopes.
He had high hopes for them, obviously. So this week I get Brad sends me this long text message. I mean, it is long. It's probably the longest text message I think I've ever got in my life. That where a former Lady Vol come out and she wanted to throw all the blame on the players, not the coach.
She was in the paper
today. Did that. And there was a couple others that tagged on with her and said all they wanted to say. But all I've got to say is this, and you can argue with me whatever you want to do. It's fine. I don't care. You know, when you hire a coach, the coach gets hired.
Absolutely.
Coach goes out and hires the assistants. They hire all their assistants and all their administrative people that goes with the program.
They're your people.
They're your people, right?
Right.
Then you sit down with your assistant coaches and you come up with a game plan. Here's the top players I want to recruit. Here's what I want the program to look like. And now Holly's been there for a long time with Pat,
right.
So she knew what the program. The face of the program was already there.
Sure.
She knew. So here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to play basketball. Here's how it's going to go. Here's what we're going to go out. Then you go out and recruit these young ladies.
Last year, the best recruiting
One of the best recruiting classes in the country.
Exactly.
So you recruit them. And then you play, and you still have the same thing going on that you've had in the past years. You still have the ups and downs. And you say, well, maybe the ups and downs are contributed to the freshmen. Now look at something here. We're going to lose. We're losing 3 seniors off of Lady Vols.
Right.
2 of them are really good players, height-wise and everything. That's probably going to be hard to replace.
1.66, yes.
It's going to be hard to replace.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've never heard of a coach blaming it on the players. Okay? And I'm not saying Holly did, but the young lady said that it's the players' fault. Well, if it's the players' fault, it's the players' fault because they got beat because they're taking the coach's message and they're putting it on the floor and they're trying to play it. So I really think it's time for Holly Warwick to – I've been saying this for 3 years. I think it's really time for Holly Warwick to go, because here's what we're going to get next year. We're getting another highly recruited class in.
Yes.
But I think next year will be worse than this year. I don't know. We probably won't play at home next year. we'll probably have to go on the road, and it could be one and done.
One
then.
and done next. Yep.
Or they might not even make the tournament next year. That would be hard to imagine because Tennessee's played in every one of them.
Well, playing into this, and it lines up like you say. You've still got to deal with the new athletic director.
I understand that.
Bill?
He's already made a comment that leads me to believe that he's going to give her an extension. Maybe give her an extension. She's down to less than 13 months on her contract. She's down to a year. And he made the comment early on that I will not discuss extending anybody's contract during the season, but I think Holly's done a good job considering she has all the freshmen. So that tells me that he's leaning to a contract extension. What needs to happen, Holly needs to work on a buyout to get her buyout,
Sure.
and she needs to go on. That's just me. I think the program will eventually go completely down the drain.
If this
It's already
happens,
there.
if it happens one more year, you not come up with those great recruiting years like she's had the last couple of years. I've seen a trend here, David, with Philip Fulmer. He's made a couple hires since he's been there, and the last AD had hired a couple, and that was a trend that had set, and evidently Philip Fulmer is filling. But when they're replacing a coach, they're replacing that coach with a former. They were assistant coach before. They wasn't a head coach somewhere. Baseball, tennis, I think volleyball, and then football. An assistant coach. Does Philip do that again? Would that be an easier transition to University of Tennessee? You coming in as assistant coach instead of a head coach, because the head coach is going to do it exactly the way he's been doing it for how many years he's been a head coach.
Right.
So an assistant coach may have an easier time. Plus, I'm not sure the expectations on that assistant coach will be as great as a head coach.
Well,
coming in.
you can just see if you look and evaluate the program, you can see that in-game adjustments she's not able to
She's
make.
not, halftime's the worst. I hate to see halftime coming because it'll be worse second half.
Yep.
Whatever's going on.
There's no
There's
no adjustments being made. And like I said, I feel like that she'll be that she's done? No, I don't. I feel like she probably gets an extension of some sort. But I think you're just putting off what's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Absolutely.
It's eventually going to happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could say, well, that's going to happen to everybody. Well, yeah, but I think eventually it's closer. If they let her go next year, and this time next year, I think she's on the really hot seat right now.
She would be gone.
I've been calling her on the hot seat for 3 years.
She would be gone right now if she hadn't been an assistant coach at Pat Summit.
Right. Now, you could say, all right, if you're going to run her off, who are you going to get? Well, I don't know.
Well, that's any
I'm not
coach.
in that business.
Any head coach who's going to get his base.
I'm not in that business, but there's some lady ball that are coaching that are doing fairly well out
Absolutely.
here that maybe could come back and turn the program around. The girl down at LSU, the girl that's from here in Oak
From here in
Ridge,
Oak
Nick,
Ridge, yeah.
she's from here in Oak Ridge.
Sure.
Even though I don't think she'd come back because her and Holly are pretty good buddies. If Holly gets fired, what Holly needs to do is step down.
And
She
make it
needs to
easy
make
for
it easier
whoever.
for whoever.
Exactly.
Right. And then the Nikki might come back here. I think the guy at Kentucky, the Mitchell guy.
The guy in Louisville is good.
There's a guy in
Yeah.
Louisville. So
Yeah.
there's a couple people that might come here that could turn this program back around. But you got to remember, this just didn't start really under Holly. It started with Pat.
It did.
She had 5 years of a downturn too.
Absolutely.
Now we've had some more years with Holly, so now we're on a downward spiral big time. Can it be stopped? I don't think they can stop it with Holly. I don't think Holly. There's a reason Holly Warwick's only been an assistant coach all of her life. Even though her name was mentioned for a lot of jobs, there's a reason she stayed at UT and was just assistant. I think deep down inside, she knew
She wasn't head coach?
she wasn't head coach. And she sort of got forced. I ain't going to say she got forced. She got put in a situation where she couldn't get out of, and then she wound up getting the job because she was I think they were trying to make Pat Summit happy at the time. And that was a good replacement. It was a smooth transition.
Sure.
Everything went smooth. Well, now it's not. Now it's not. So now it's time to go on, and that's just my opinion.
Well, I think
It's time to go on.
security blanket is Knoxville. She's a Bearden girl. Security was with UT. You mentioned a job in Florida. You mentioned a job in South Carolina. Probably didn't feel that secure. So that's maybe why she stayed.
And then again, you got to look up the rafters, and there's her jersey that's been hung in the rafters.
That's several
So-
reasons.
But just because you're a great basketball player and we're talking basketball is the only reason I'm saying, and I'll use that I'll just use any sport. Because you're a great athlete, doesn't mean you're a great coach.
Happens a lot in high school, and they'll come out of the head coach and they get another job as an assistant coach somewhere and stay there forever and do a good job. You're just an assistant coach, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Some people are made to be head coaches, and some people are made to be assistants.
Absolutely.
And that's just the bottom line.
Absolutely.
So
I agree with that.
Let's see if this phone call, if we can hear them and they can hear us. We'll try it here and see. Go ahead, caller. You on the air?
Okay.
There we go. Good.
Hey, yeah, it's Larry. I just watched the show first time I called in, and I heard.
Give you the crown
right
and
on
scepter.
board with you. There's so many of them out there. Mick Catchings, of course, she's done jobs. But my personal opinion is Carol Lawson, Washington analysis and all that. I don't know anybody knows the game better than her.
Someone mentioned that today on ESPN. And,
all right, thanks. We appreciate it.
Yep.
That'd be a great choice. That'd be a great choice.
Someone mentioned her today on ESPN, David, and they said, man, she's got such a cushy job, and she does good at it. Her color commentary, I guess, like that. They don't know if she would put herself back in there, but that's a very competitive young lady. Grew up in a military home, and I probably wouldn't put it past her. I think she loves the University of Tennessee that well too. So.
Okay, thanks.
Not a possible.
Well, so we've talked about the Lady Vols, and I mean, I just say it's a situation. You know, they never lost in that when their regions at home they were 47 or 57 and 0 or something, whatever.
Yep, exactly.
Now they got one. I mean, all you had to know is Oregon State outplayed them bad.
Yep.
And we made no adjustments in that. She probably made adjustments, but that she couldn't relay them.
What about the development of players? I've noticed.
Well, that's another thing.
See, I noticed.
You
see enough of these players play, and you know there's right-handed and left-handed. Okay, they had some fast breaks. Well, the Lady Vols and fast breaks going up, and they went on the left side of the bucket, and they're still shooting a layup with their right hand. These athletes are very talented. Coming out of high school, the best of the best, and I don't know.
I'll use Mercedes Russell for an instance. I don't think she's got any better.
Nope, she hadn't.
Than what she was as a freshman.
She's still 6'6".
She might be a little bit stronger, but
I challenge that.
I don't know if she's got any better. Period.
Toughness,
period.
anything. No,
I don't know if she's got any better. I really don't know that if she's got any better. So, but anyway, man, you could tell that high school baseball started, and I'll tell you why. It's colder than all get out outside.
Oh yeah,
it's snowing.
I can remember the bumblebees.
Yeah,
big
I mean,
Lord
hand. Have mercy.
Absolutely.
You can tell that high school baseball started. I mean, all at once we're having pretty weather, and high school baseball starts, and they throw the first pitch, and we're down to below freezing.
Well, I know when
it snowed today.
I know when I played, my son played. Central High School was top of the pole. They were as good as they get. And Clinton played a 2-game series with Central the last 2 days, the warm days. And Trey Harrell pitched maybe a 2-hitter. They won that ball game. Alex Burton pitched a no-hitter the second night. Combination, I think they both struck out 12. They struck out 24 guys in 2 nights. I don't know if pitching, and I've always thought, my understanding of baseball early in the year, pitching's always ahead of hitting.
Probably.
And the hitting will catch up when it gets warmer, you know, and pitchers, they get tired because they pitch a lot in high school. So I think that'll catch up. But Central, you know, maybe down, or I hope those 2 individuals, they pitched well last year for Clinton. I hope those 2 young men do a great job.
Has the baseball team won a game yet?
Yeah, they've won like 3 in a row now.
Oh,
they lost the first 2.
Okay.
And I think they're 3-2 now, or 4-2.
Wow, somebody told me they were 0-6. So I don't know if
that's
true.
I think they went 2. I think before they won their first game. So
okay.
Hey, again, it's early in the year and things like that do happen.
Yeah, pitching is usually ahead of hitting a little bit, stuff like that.
Right.
So, but anyway, I thought, wow. Baseball, you can tell high school baseball's here because crazy weather happens during high school baseball.
That's right. Softball.
Yeah.
Girls are playing down at Clinton too. I think they started out the year with Oak Ridge, beat them like 16-0. So you just don't know. I guess the peaks and the valleys, I guess, of young high school sports, minor sports and the softball and so forth. You just don't know how it's going to go during. You wouldn't think Oak Ridge would ever be weak with the students they have. But maybe Clinton with Lisa Watson and Alan Severs. Maybe they picked it up a little bit. So hope so. Campbell County, I think, is already 7 or 8 and 0. They haven't lost a ball game. So good for them.
High school sports is rolling right along. I mean, it's hard to believe that also, it started yesterday. Spring football practice started for Tennessee.
Absolutely. I heard a little bit of today.
Well,
I think it started, yeah.
I heard some crazy comments about it. Was asked Jerry Pruitt, well, have you already evaluated your players? Well, I've watched them one day. I mean,
there's a lot of film I guess he could have looked at. And the reason, David, I might say this, is you immediately put Tyler Bird on defense. And one of his better running backs, I can't ever say his name. He's got about 3 or 4 names, the last name. They've switched him from running back to secondary already. Of course, the secondary needs a lot of help. I think what he's doing, he's beefing up his defense. He's going to hold you to not many points. I don't know if he's going to be able to outscore you, but with the system he's going to put in. But I think offensive line, he's only got.
Well, he said, I've seen them in their team rooms and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Right.
But I tried to look at them yesterday. Just different things, but you can't really make
No.
It's not really.
No.
I don't know how you make an on-field evaluation of somebody for one day of spring practice. I mean, come on. I mean, let's give him a little bit longer than one day to come up with a.
I think immediately he starts changing the culture. Used to when you see a timeout call and the football team runs over the sidelines to meet with the coach. Let's say Alabama runs. I mean, how thick and how big those guys are, and I just don't get that feeling when UT would do that. They didn't look. They're big. I'm 300-pounders, but they didn't look that strong that fast. I think he'll change that.
They said the Bird kid used to be a pretty good defensive back in high school. Said he played both sides of the ball.
He's from Naples, Florida,
and he apparently was pretty good.
Yes.
So
right.
The other kid too has some defensive back stuff. So that's where they're weak at right now.
Okay, let me ask you something there. With Tyler Bird, with all that print of being a great defensive back. Butch Jones has him on offense. Matter of fact, this last offense year wasn't in the offensive scheme very much at all. And this guy's like a 4.4 40 guy.
And that's why the comment was made about him this season. As I was coming down, I was listening to them talk about him. They said, we're waiting on all this greatness we were told about.
Exactly.
And we didn't see it last year, so maybe it'll be on the defensive side of the football.
He's out of position. Even though he's fast.
And apparently this kid asked to go. He said he didn't have no quorums with going over on the defensive side of the football. Right. So, I don't know, man. One day and they're already wanting to know what he thinks of the football team. That's unreal pressure. That's just, you can't put somebody to that. I mean, come on, give him a couple days. Let him get a week in anyway, and then ask him that question.
I think they were talking to the players before the spring practice started, and they're asking about the weight room. They said, "Oh my God, this guy's way over the top." I mean, made them feel very uncomfortable. And they lifted weights last year, but they made them feel very uncomfortable going into the second part of the year. So the weightlifting coach evidently is the real deal. And again, Pruitt's got the Alabama mentality.
Right now, and I've heard high school coaches preach this all the time. Right now, when they start winter workouts, when you win ball games.
Absolutely.
So I would think that's the same thing in college. Right now is when we win ball games.
Absolutely.
We're getting stronger. We're getting bigger. We're getting faster. Right now is when we're going to be competing in September.
Another attitude with the injuries being the way it is and concussions being the way it is. Pruitt's actually said, and they've asked him this. We noticed in practice the other day, nobody ever hits the ground. He said you can be a great football team in your practices during the week, and nobody ever hits the ground. You make your contacts. You teach them the contacts, how to line up, take your head out of the hit, but you stop it right there. You stop with a whistle, and injuries is when you hit the ground.
Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It actually does make some sense. So
we're going to see some changes in football, and that may be something Alabama had done for the last 3 or 4 years, and just now catching on. But the concussion thing is a real deal,
Well, it is, and it is. It's hard for some people to realize. And not the NFL. The NFL's big in the concussion stuff now. They're trying to be. But the hockey, the NHL.
More concussions?
Well, they don't recognize concussions. they don't think that they have concussions in their game of hockey.
But not as quick as that game is, and
Well-
the way they hit the sideboards.
That's what I was going to say.
Good.
I listened to a thing the other day, a ex-hockey player talking about it, all the concussions he's had. And the NHL will not recognize that or will not talk about it. They say there's not a problem in the National Hockey League with concussions.
Well, the right uppercuts that I see some of them get, there's your concussion.
There's your concussion. I agree with you.
Good.
So
night.
they're still in denial. They're still in denial. There's 5 or 6 players that's doing some things right now trying to put the spotlight on the National Hockey League about concussions because they say there's not a problem. They say they don't have a problem. They say their game doesn't cause concussions. Okay, when they pile drive you into the boards
Absolutely.
and you get drove down, you get blindsided. I know that some of that stuff's illegal, but still it happens.
It still happens.
And
Absolutely.
hockey might be as more physical than football is at some time.
When you see stitches in the face,
Yeah,
something's hit you hard.
and when you see teeth knocked out,
Something's hit you hard.
sometimes it hit you hard to do that.
Exactly.
Let's jump out. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about a little about the men's basketball team. We failed to do that a while ago. My fault, but we'll get back to the men and we'll break the men down and talk about what next year looks
Well,
like.
is the excitement back in NASCAR? We'll talk about
We'll talk
that
about it
later.
too. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
In today's world, you don't stay in business long without providing exceptional customer service. The Duff family has been providing exceptional customer service for over 44 years. Our customers rate us highly, as shown by the fact we're the only dealer in Tennessee to have earned the Subaru Stellar Care Award for customer satisfaction 6 years in a row. Check our online reviews or ask your friends. They'll tell you to come to Earl Duff Subaru, where buying is a pleasure.
Choose financing as low as 0% for 63 months on all new 2018 Outback models at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Glad to be with you this evening. Glad E.T.'s sitting in with me this evening.
Yeah, you're welcome.
At least I got somebody intelligent to talk to, not Ron Berry. So Ron wants to argue all the time.
I like Mr. Berry.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'd like you too if he's sending you coffee. I mean, listen, the people, there's some people that really knows Ron Berry.
Starbucks.
Because I get calls and stuff all the time. Sorry you have to put up with Ron, and we understand and we know, and I don't understand him, but that's beside the point. But congratulations, I think he told me that they had a new grandbaby, and I assume that's where they were going to sit. I almost probably said he had to go to Chicago, but I congratulate him on the new grandbaby. They ain't nothing like grandkids. So, but men basketball, I think a lot of people had them going to the Sweet 16 ET, and
but if you'll back up the preseason, what were they saying about the Vols?
Yeah.
And look what they did.
And look what they did.
You hate that, but then you start back here and say, my God, they got that far. What are we complaining about? And you only lose one senior, and you got a great coach. He does make good adjustments at halftime.
Yeah, he can coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they play awful good
And he
defense.
does know how to recruit.
It seems like they live or die by the 3 points this year at times, the games that they lost. They had to hit that three-pointer. And I think once people really figured out Williams, he almost left the scene the last 10 ball games of the year. And then Admiral really shaped up. And of course, he's big, got a lot of strength. It's going to be the star next year.
I think if he will learn the little shot around the paint and that area right in there,
his quickness, he can get it off.
That he can get a shot right there, and it becomes how he plays inside, where he can step out and take that small little jump shot, foul line up towards the goal. He learns how to take that little shot right there and gets consistent with it. He will be one tough hombre to guard, man. He'll be tough to handle.
In my perception of this year, I thought they were getting good guard play. But some of the guys from inside basketball, if not none of the coaches, but people that gets it there every day, seem to think that's what Rick Barnes needs next year, is the guy at the point guard, they call him, to really take charge and be able to go in and get the 2 points, or go to the lane and dish it off and somebody else gets an easy 2 points. And I don't think he was saying they got to go out and recruit a 5-star point guard. Make somebody accountable in those three. It was Bowman, Bone. There was three there.
Daniels.
Okay.
No, Daniels
he's leaving.
He's leaving.
Yeah.
He's a senior.
It seemed like, and he may have been three, but somebody needs to take responsibility for that and be that guy. And I don't know how that gets done. I'm sure Barnes knows. I didn't realize they showed up in the gym every morning at 5:30. They've got to run a mile under 6 minutes. Every guy on the team. And with them only losing one, David, I've got to ask you, and he's got 3 or 4 coming in. Who else leaves? Who else transfers?
I don't know if he has anybody transfer.
Well, I mean, you only got one coming. You've only got one leaving. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Do you ask somebody to leave?
Somebody might get asked. Somebody that's on scholarship might not be back.
But if somebody didn't play a lot this year and a decent ball player, you got the same bunch coming back. So chances are I'm not going to get to play much. So I'm going to leave just so I can play.
His three subs off the bench most of the time, and I'll have to take out Daniel because he was one of those. He came in, or him and Bone sort of rotate.
And then Williams.
But you look at his
Walker.
You look at Walker, Ponce, and I can't think the kid from Kingsport. What's his name? Man, I can't think of his name. Got hurt last year, hurt his elbow, and was out, and he played.
Fulkerson?
Yeah, Fulkerson.
Okay. Right.
You got those 3 kids coming off the bench, and out of those 3 kids, Ponce looks like he's quicker than lightning.
Oh, he's big.
And
strong.
And Walker looks like he is a big inside body.
They said they think he'll be the guy. Potts is from England, I think, and he's building himself up. And then one of the other guys, who is from Canada?
That's Ponce. He's from Canada.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's from Canada.
Okay.
But Walker looks like the inside guy maybe that eventually.
And he's got a good body with him.
He's got a good body with him too. And the other guy, the Fulkerson guy, was going really well his freshman year till he got hurt, and it's took him a long time I think it just took him a while to get back over his injury.
Somebody mentioned that to Jimmy Himes, said, when he got back on the court, how come we didn't see the same Fulkerson? And Jimmy Himes seems to think it's all about getting healthy again. He contributed. It was 1 or 2 of the games. I thought he was a disruptor. He'd deflect the passes, get a rebound, make an easy one, but he was there. But Jimmy Himes seemed to think it's all in the getting healthy, so he must not be 100%.
Yeah, he's probably not, just the way everybody talks.
And I don't know what the injury was.
Well, it was an elbow. He dislocated an elbow and had that elbow in something else, so he had a lot of damage. I mean, it took his recovery time was a long time.
He's a scrappy kid. Don't look like he has a ton of talent, but he's just scrappy and he's a big kid. So
earlier on, I'd talked to my buddy Archie, and we talked about the NCAA tournament every year, and we were talking about who's going to, who might win this thing, and we both said, I still don't know who's going to win it. I have, in my opinion, who I'd like to see win it.
Villanova?
I'm not necessarily leaning towards Villanova. I'm going to say Kansas just because, I like Kansas, first of all, but I just think it might be Kansas. But as we said earlier in the year, there really wasn't a dominant team that really stood out. I mean,
probably not.
Virginia did to a certain extent, but let one player get hurt, you see what happens. You get beat by 30.
Yeah.
Then you would say Villanova. So maybe we'll see. They got a tough matchup coming up here with their Sweet 16 game. You know, North Carolina gets blowed out.
Bad.
You asked about Duke. Well, Duke's been up and down all year.
Absolutely.
Then you look at Syracuse, that you wonder how they got in the tournament, and they're playing as well right now as anybody.
Exactly.
So I think going into this week of the Sweet 16, I don't think we know who's going to. I don't think we have an idea right now who the Final Four. I think you could say anybody that's left has a chance to be in the Final Four.
Well,
and let me tell you, I'd like to see it be some no names.
Well, if this weekend gets busted up like the previous weeks have, you may end up with that team. You may end up with Nevada winner. You may end up.
I would love to see, and I would love to see some no-namers in the Final Four.
I totally agree with you.
Final Four. Now, I'll tell you something I'd like to see college basketball stop. And I understand the NBA is working really hard to get this done, to get some things stopped. They're working on something that if you come out of high school, you can go to the D League and play. It's not very much money paid there, but you can go there, and then you can work your. You have to go there. You can't go.
Is that the ball fella that's doing that?
No, this is just the NBA that's doing it.
Okay.
And once you go to college, you have to stay 3 years.
Just like football, baseball,
football. Right. Okay. You have to stay 3 years.
All right.
I think that'd be a smart thing.
Well, now that you brought that up, Kentucky may not. They may have one, but they may not have anyone goes to the NBA, and he's got another 5 studs coming in. What does he do?
That's a good question, because right now I think he's only got 2 kids on his team that are projected lottery picks.
And they may change their mind.
So, but I think they all those 5. There's 5 of them that all think they are. So see, once they commit to go to the NBA, then they're done.
They're done with an agent or whatever.
Yeah, they're done. Right. So NBA's trying to. I wish they would. I wish somebody'd step up here and do the right thing. I understand it's all about money. I understand that better than anybody, but I don't like the one and done thing.
Well, the way the brackets have gone, they feel like people above us, which is Kentucky line, feel like they've got a cruise, but they've got to meet Kansas State this next, and Kansas State's playing good. It's one of those teams that's playing good basketball right now.
But what you're seeing, though, you're seeing Duke now starting to do the one and dones. Probably wouldn't never do it before. Now they're doing it.
Right.
Arizona. That's another debacle to look at with Arizona.
So that would stop that, what you just
Well, yeah, that would stop. That'd put an end to it.
Exactly.
You got to decide. You're going to go to college or you're going to go to the D League and play. You go to the D League and play, you don't make very much money. There'll be a lot of kids go to that league. But there'll also be a lot of kids declare for the NBA lottery, to get drafted, and that won't get drafted, that they're through.
Right.
That they're going to the D League anyway.
Now, the ball fella that had the son playing at UCLA that caused all the controversy.
Yeah, Lorenzo.
Has he not started a
league?
He's
trying. He's
in
either
Spain or somewhere.
He's trying to. Yeah.
For high
send his sons over there or something to play, and he's trying to do something.
Right.
I think he's messed his 2 youngest kids up completely.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Completely. And I don't know if his oldest son that's with the Lakers is actually as good as he thinks he is. I don't know that he never impressed me at UCLA when I watched him play.
No,
he really didn't. So I wasn't impressed too much with him at UCLA. So college basketball is sort of weird right now. I mean, the upsets in the last weekend were just unreal.
Well, let's switch to, since basketball switched to high school. The run that Fulton Falcons went on, they had a year that we're not used to. They had 7 or 8 losses. And you're not used to that with Fulton, but then they go into the tournament.
And by me not being around Fulton, I say not being around, when I sort of walked away from what I was doing over there, and I enjoyed every bit of the time I was over there, and I'm still a Fulton fan, and I hadn't been around a game in 2 or 3 years now. I've not been to a game. So I don't know much about the Fulton program now like I did. I used to be able to come up here, and I could sit here and name the kids off to you and tell you who the future star was going to be, or who I thought it was going to be anyway. It might not be who Coach Wright thought it was going to be. It's who I thought it was going to be, because I watched them play from the JV part all the way up.
Right.
And I got to follow those kids up and watch them really turn into good basketball players. So I was at a function last night, and you were there too, and I asked Jody, had a pretty good run. He said, well, anytime you can end in Murfreesboro,
Oh, absolutely.
anytime you end in Murfreesboro,
That's
it's a great run. It's a great way. And I said, was you expecting this year's team to be as good? And he said, well, yes, I was. But there were some things happened before basketball season started that I didn't realize it was going to happen. He said, you know, I had a really short bench, and here's why. He said, I had some players that didn't play this year. They were not able to play. One kid moved away, moved to, I think he said, Virginia. A couple of them got hurt in football and were not able to play. And these 3 kids were all starters.
And he didn't get his football players till late.
So he's talking, he lost some starters out of this, and
Wow.
he still goes on. And as he said, you know, I'm only losing 2. I think we'll really, the next couple of years, we'll really be good. So I didn't realize that he'd even lost some starters, and I guess if you're around the program, you know that. But he had a really good run, and you know, he said, I really think we just ran out of gas at the end. He had a kid that played. He had a kid that played every minute of every game.
Never come out,
and even the double overtime.
The team he lost to, Hamilton?
Yeah.
Okay. He told me last night at that same meeting, he said, I went back and checked. They were such an awesome ball club. I went back and checked. Their average span of games won was 25 points. They were beating everybody just by halftime. That was overdone, and you know, so probably their whole 10 squad or 12, how many they got on the team, played a lot of basketball this year. But they had a guy in the middle, big, completely took that game over in the last 3 minutes. Every rebound, every point, a man among men right there. But Jody did good night. He got one of those big basketballs, just a different color than the winner.
Well, yeah, you know, every high school coach, I don't care what you're coaching, your ultimate goal is to play for state championship.
Just go that direction.
Just to go that direction,
Right, exactly.
and to get there. And it's very hard to get there. And Jody was playing, you know, for the 7th time.
Now, with 3 minutes to go, he was ahead.
He was ahead.
And that would have been his
And
fourth state title.
Yeah, that would been his
Wow.
4th state title.
Wow.
And he just
Wow.
feels like that he sort of ran out of gas. I think he's very proud of his kids. He's very proud of the way they played.
Victory
And-
702 while he was down there.
Yep. I think he had a good basketball team this year. It sort of flew under the radar. And you know, once you make it to Murfreesboro, it's sort of like what's going on right now with the NCAA. It don't matter how you play.
No,
It don't matter if it's ugly.
At the moment.
You
what
want it to
play.
say at the end
Exactly.
that you've won by 1 point. It don't matter if it's 1 point or 50.
Exactly.
It's a win, and you moving on to advance to play the next round. You want to play the next round. You don't want to go home and wear a uniform. So that's like going to Murfreesboro. Every how you can win. A lot of it's getting some good breaks on the draw.
Sure.
I mean, he said the team we beat in, I believe it was Stafford or something like that. That's the team that everybody had picked all year long.
To win it all.
To win it all. And we beat them.
Wow.
So Wild's right. I mean, he had a really good year.
Right out of Knoxville.
All you got to do is walk over and look at all the banners
Oh,
hanging up over there. And it's been about being in the state tournament, district and region championships and stuff like that, and state championship banners. I mean, it's fairly impressive for a high school program around here to have that.
Well, in out of Knoxville, Shelley Collier from Webb. Shelley Sexton, as we all know her.
She's won a bunch.
Yes, she's won state title. And then Grace Boys won a state championship.
First year on the private side, they won one. Yes, Shelley, I don't know how many Shelley's won now. Shelley's won 4 or 5, I think, or maybe even more.
Trying to get all of her daughters a ring.
Trying to get all of her daughters a ring. I mean, she's really been there's another person, if you want to talk about being a coach at UT. Don't know. Well, that's a question. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you talk about, well, you're going to leave from high school to go to college. I don't know.
Maybe go in as assistant.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if that's something she'd want to do, maybe she would have left Webb and just been an assistant. But apparently
Probably
not.
a key to that. She had 4 daughters, and I think it looks like maybe they've all played, and maybe at least 3 of them's played. I just wonder if the last one gets out of school, she would not consider that.
Yeah, maybe she
Especially
would.
in Knoxville, I mean, at UT.
And we don't talk about high school coaches leaving from the high school ranks. Penny Hardaway takes the
Memphis
East.
job.
Memphis, he takes and gets the Memphis job. And
You hear what they owed Tubby? $10 million.
Woo!
How do you do that?
I wouldn't care if I was coaching or not.
No, I mean, why would
Write
you?
me the check, baby.
$10 million they hired. And
Put
Penny,
the bacon home.
Penny didn't come there, but they said they lost. Jimmy Himes was telling a story today of what they had lost. They're drawing like 8,500 people to their games. I mean, just unheard of low. And then, of course, that's why you get rid of the coach. You're not filling the seats. But his buyout was $10 million.
Man, these coaches have got good lawyers and
Unbelievable.
agents that's got them.
I just want to get hired to get fired. That's it right there.
Oh, well, we'll come back. We'll talk a little NASCAR. Let's take a break, and we'll be back for the final segment.
Butch Jones is an intern.
Yeah, that's an intern. All right.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry, plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
In today's world, you don't stay in business long without providing exceptional customer service. The Duff family has been providing exceptional customer service for over 44 years. Our customers rate us highly, as shown by the fact we're the only dealer in Tennessee to have earned the Subaru Stellar Care Award for customer satisfaction 6 years in a row. Check our online reviews or ask your friends. They'll tell you to come to Earl Duff Subaru, where buying is a pleasure.
Choose financing as low as 0% for 63 months on all new 2018 Outback models at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Mulch & More in Midtown is your landscaping headquarters. Mulch & More offers mulch, the best topsoil in the area. All types of gravel, sand, pea gravel, either loose or in bags, creek rock, river rock, field stone, mountain mist stone, railroad cross ties, straw bales, fence posts, farm gates, and much more. Mulch & More offers backhoe and dump truck service. And Mulch & More can also demolish a house or building on your property, and they'll haul it off for you. Give Gary a call today at 865-740-5229 for Mulch & More in Midtown.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Glad you're with us this evening. If you want to give us a call at 483-8112, we'll try to answer your question. I don't know if we'll be able to, but we'll attempt it.
What do you know about Butch Jones? His official game time. He's an
analyst or something on the inside. I don't know if he's getting paid. I don't know. I don't know if he's getting paid for it. I understood he was taking the job paid $25,000. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Why would he do that when UT still paying him $2.5 million
He has to at least try to, according to the way his contract is, he
in order
has
to continue that.
He has to try to get back in the profession.
So Saban helped him do that.
I guess, yeah. Now, Saban's done this for a lot of people, has brought them in, whether they come back as assistants or something, and then they branch out from him, and he's turned a lot of coaches around. Lane Kiffin being one of them.
Absolutely.
So
this will help Butch maybe get a job in
maybe get in the job or help him get back on the field, because now he's not on the field. He does everything off the field.
Right.
He's not allowed to be on the field. Not allowed to coach on the field. I don't know if he can go to the games or not or anything.
Now, coming from Alabama, Pruitt when he arrived at UT, he hired a couple of analysts, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether they're interns or not, I don't know. But
I don't know about that. I think you can have a couple. I don't know how many. You can have some. I don't know how many. If it's just a couple or
so
what.
they're all field, and they analyze your offense or defense.
Right.
Analyze your coach, or they analyze. I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know what actually if they're analyzing your offense, if they're analyzing the team you're playing's offense, if you're helping with a game plan. I don't really know. So.
Wow.
I think Bush Jones's problem is exactly what we're talking about, being able to coach on the field.
And adjustments at halftime.
And adjustments at halftime. That's probably what got him fired in some of his stupid comments that he made. I think he's a great recruiter. Great recruiter. I think he can recruit with anybody. But he just made some stupid comments.
And is he playing? Did he have players out of position? Because already
it sounds
Pruitt
like
has really switched a lot.
Sounds like he might have.
And Mikhail McKenzie went to the pro day, and the very first thing somebody said to him is, take a couple snaps on the offensive line of the ball. He never had a snap on offense. He was always on defense.
They moved him over the offensive side of the football.
Exactly.
Well, he was recruited as a defensive tackle. I mean, that's what the big there's another kid. Let's just take him for it. Highly recruited. Highly talented, they said.
Never got any better. Matter of fact,
I don't know if he got
any better at all. But who was notorious for taking kids off the defense, Charles McCray being one of them, and putting them on the offensive line and making something out of them?
Well, that'd be Ken Donahue at Tennessee at the time.
I
when
think Phil Fulmer may have done that when he was the line coach.
That's what I'm saying. Ken Donahue did that with McCray, and look at what Charles McCray did. I remember Charles McCray at Clinton.
Very non-aggressive type guy. But
you would think he's going to UT?
Well, this is what they've done with him. Charles was very intelligent, but they've got a kid that's 6'8", and you teach him and you put him on the left tackle, which protects your right-handed quarterback. That's where the dollar bills are at, on the left tackle.
That's right, on the left tackle.
Yeah, and you get him to get in a pass position. How long does it take you to run around somebody like that? Well, hopefully your quarterback's done got the ball thrown.
You'd hope. I really think they really did a really good job coaching up McCray and getting every ounce they could get out of him, and they got every ounce out of him. And he turned out to really be a good college football. I mean, a really good college football player.
He did exactly what the scheme told him to do. The NFL noticed that. He was a first-round draft pick. He definitely had the last laugh on any of us at Clinton, thinking he was a very non-aggressive kid. My God, he perfected what they wanted him to do.
I think Donahue and them seen a big-bodied person.
Exactly.
And what you said about him being fairly smart, they knew he was smart and knew that he'd probably be that type of kid that would be coachable.
Very coachable, absolutely.
And that he would learn. And wow, did he learn? I mean, did he learn? That's the main thing.
Using his intelligence, he's over a radiologist group in Cleveland, Ohio, I think, Columbus, Ohio, one of the best in the nation of what he does. So he's in the big chip still.
Well, he turned out to being a so-so high school athlete into a really, really, really good college and had a nice career in the NFL. So,
absolutely.
You have to say that kid, as he went on up, got very well.
He played high school basketball his senior year. Being 6'8", I think Coach Lockard needed somebody like him. Coach Donahue would come to the gym and he said, "I don't care if he ever scored. I just want to watch him run." He wanted to watch his hand movement and his feet movement. Again, Connor Donahue was thinking, put him on the offensive side of the ball. I know Donahue had him on defense, but
and didn't he block a couple extra field goals or something? They put him in the middle. I think he did back in his.
Absolutely.
They put him in. He done a few things. So, Charles McCray. I mean, there's somebody that took advantage of a God-given thing that was given to him, and he took advantage of it, man, and ran with it, and did a nice job. I know we mentioned a couple a break or two ago. We said something about NASCAR.
Absolutely. The names, a lot of new names, David. Chase Elliott. The only reason I know Chase is Bill Elliott's son. But you get down along through there, and who are these guys?
Well, you got William Byron and Bowman and Eric Jones, and there's still a couple more.
What series those guys come out of?
They're coming out of the Xfinity series.
Well,
some of them are coming out of the Truck Series. Some of them are coming out of the can't think what it's called. There's one more series, and I can't think what it's called. They're coming out of that series and working their way up. There's Tony Stewart's got a hot driver. Right now the talk has been, Tony Stewart's got, and I can't remember the guy's name, Tony Stewart's got a guy that's in the Xfinity series that's ready to come to the big time, ready to come up with the big boys.
He's got to have a seat for him.
He's got to have a seat for him. He doesn't have a seat for him. So the talk is who gets booted first at Stewart Haas Motorsports. Well, it's not going to be Kevin Harvick.
Oh, no, he's winning.
He's winning.
Yep, and Ford's got the best
if I
car.
look at it, I look at Kurt Busch or I look at Boyer. Well, Boyer's not won a race in years now. So there's a lot of pressure on those two guys to stay because they got a young kid that's nipping at their heels that he really should be in NASCAR right now.
Let's throw something what you just said. Maybe we want to get Clint Boyer out of there because this kid will come in. What if Clint Boyer keeps a big-time sponsor on the side of your car?
Well,
he'll stay.
Well, that's the reason they said that Joe Gibbs made the switch because the people that wanted Jones and they didn't want to do and I've lost the thought, Kansas. They didn't want to, because of younger face to a younger generation. Well, I don't know who it was. Yeah. And then I guess the biggest news was going into last week's race that Jimmy Johnson's longtime sponsor of Lowe's at the end of the year.
They're switching or dropping?
They're dropping.
Okay. Wow.
They're dropping their relationship after all these years and all these championships.
So they may sponsor someone else?
I don't know.
Because they said that's worked its way up to $30 million.
I don't know. I think it's. I think they're out. They're getting out of it.
They're just using their dollars some other way.
They're using their dollars some other way. And see, that's the problem that I think you get. Can you bring sponsorship? Do you have sponsorship? Is somebody willing to come with you?
That's who drives the car.
That's right.
Exactly right.
Because just think, if you're putting $30 million in something, that's pretty much going to be somebody that's going to be the face of your franchise.
Absolutely.
That's somebody that's going to do a lot of commercials for you. That's somebody that's going to be at a lot of events.
Yep. I totally.
And it's got to be somebody that can bring the bacon home.
But, usually these are good-looking guys that again, can do a commercial and so forth and so on like that. And how many do you have of those that can drive a race car? I mean,
it's funny how Napa said. It's funny how Napa said. I think back a few years ago when they had sponsored Michael Waltrip for a long time and been around him, they finally said it's time for us to get out of NASCAR. It's no longer beneficial to us. They say that. They walk away from it. And all at once, little Chase Elliott comes along.
He's got a name. And his
dad, and I think his dad had a little affiliation with him, and they decide, yeah, we're back in NASCAR.
I'm surprised.
We're back to NASCAR.
I'm surprised that name didn't buy Ford, because that's what Bill was with all these years. So, and that was a good relationship.
Yeah.
So interesting the way that works.
But NASCAR is it's got, I don't know if they've got their viewership back like it should be. It's fairly interesting now with the stage racing the way they've got it. It's a little interesting, but it's coming back slowly but surely. Now, whether it ever comes all the way back, I don't know. I still think money is really hard to get. Everybody can say we're in a high-flying economy right now. I don't know if it's high-flying as much as what we think, but I think NASCAR, the dollars in NASCAR, has got so much that
well, you'll see numerous names on that car now instead of maybe Lowe's entirely. You'll have Lowe's and all the little sub-tools.
Yeah, you'll have all the sub-tools that they have on there too. So they divide it up because it's so expensive. Right. It's so expensive. You're saying, $30 million is a lot of money. Well, first of all, $30 million is a lot to put in a race car.
Well, you got the race car, you got the shop, you got this.
You got everything.
You got everything.
You got every, and it came down. Well, prime example is, and I can't think of his name. He left Richard Petty and went to Stewart-Haas this year. When he went to Stewart-Haas, he took Smithfield with him. They were, what's his name? Man, I forgot his name.
Not Ryan Blaney, is it?
No, it's not Blaney. He's driving number 10 car. Man, I can't think of his name. Eric Amaral.
Okay.
When Amaral left Petty Motorsports, he took the sponsorship with him.
Oh,
he took Smithfield with him. They go with him. They go to Stewart-Haas with him. So he gets a seat at Stewart-Haas.
They like the driver.
They like the driver. He's the face of their franchise, and they like the driver. He goes with them.
Well, he had a following because he came out of Indianapolis. driving, and then he came to NASCAR. I haven't known many of those guys or girls do well.
There's not been many, only a few, very few, that's won a lot of races in that.
Who was the first lady? I'm going to give you a quiz here. The first lady came from Indianapolis to NASCAR.
I don't have any
and
idea.
I think she may have, geez, you might have to correct me here. She may have won a race.
I don't know if there's ever been.
Janet Guthrie.
I don't think she's ever. I don't think she ever
But
won
she
a
may
race.
not have. But and she didn't run long, but she did run some.
I think
races.
she's won some races in
Indianapolis.
Maybe she done some stuff in that series, but I don't think there's been a woman in NASCAR that's ever really won a race.
And then
Danica Patrick probably did more.
She got out, right?
Yeah, she's retired now.
Is she going back to Indianapolis?
She's going to run in Indy. She's going to run in the Indianapolis 500.
Maybe.
No, it's not going to be full. It's a one-time. It's a one-time deal.
Now
So.
that was probably a perfect scenario there. She came into NASCAR because she probably bring a sponsor.
Well, when she first came in, it was like, wow, it's some hot item. I mean,
exactly.
The women were. You go where her trailer was at, and they would flock it.
Right.
Because she was really good. I mean, she brought some new viewers to it, being a female,
And they used it that
and
way.
Then,
Okay.
and then she didn't do too bad. I mean, she didn't do great, but she didn't do too bad. She done some respectable things. But NASCAR's went through its ups and downs, and it might be on the uptick just a little bit right now. I mean, you know, I can remember back when I first started watching NASCAR, I didn't miss this. If I wasn't at the racetrack, I was in front of the TV.
Yep, you had a lot of name recognition.
That's
back
exactly
then.
right. And it was, you knew that, you wondered what will happen today.
Right.
What will happen today? Will somebody get booted today? You knew that. And sort of like NASCAR sort of changed, I sometimes think they overregulate it.
Maybe.
I sometimes think they throw cautions when they shouldn't throw cautions. And, you know, it's like people raise enough cane about not finishing races under caution, you won't see the green laps. Prime example of that's the Xfinity race this year at Daytona. They kept going and going and going and going in overtime. I mean, I think it's 3 overtime.
They did, exactly right.
So, you know, that people loved that. That was the talk.
Right.
The Xfinity series, how exciting the race was. Might have been the trucks that done that instead of Xfinity. One of them done it. I don't remember who done it. But the talk leaving the racetrack is how great that was that night, because some of those races were at night. The Xfinity series and the truck was at night. But that was the talk, how great that race was.
Well, I can remember years ago, I guess, when you were talking about when you were following NASCAR, I knew who, and the guy that came in 25th position, I knew who that was.
Oh, yeah.
I knew what kind of car he drove, probably his number and his sponsor. I mean, I knew him. But today, unless it's Trevor Bayne, you know, because he's from Knoxville, that's about the only one I'll know in the last 20 cars.
This tells me everything I need to know about NASCAR. NASCAR, it was really hard to get a ticket at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now I think you probably can go up there and get a ticket just about anywhere you want to set. That tells you a lot about NASCAR. That tells
Especially
you
Bristol. Yeah.
At Bristol,
Yeah.
because Bristol was a sellout. The night race was a sellout. You probably can find a ticket to the night race today, right today probably. I would be willing to bet.
Right.
So anyway, that's the rundown on NASCAR.
Let me bring something up real quick. Baseball. Randy Boyd came out, and he's got his 3rd baseball team now. Got a rookie league, I think, up in Greenville. He's moved it from somewhere in South Carolina to Tennessee, I think. What's your idea of rumors? Now, I don't know if there's anything to it. Probably not. Why would you move a baseball club away from Sevierville? But what's your ideas of bringing the baseball back to Knoxville?
I think he's going to put the AA team in Knoxville and another team.
Which is the one from Sevierville.
Yeah,
Put
right.
another one in that ballpark?
Put one of these other ball teams in that ballpark,
Man, that's just
to fulfill his contract.
Beautiful stadium up there. And plus,
Yep. It's a good place to go watch a ball game.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
It's a friendly place to go. I love going up there. I sure do.
So
we'll see.
That's your thoughts. But
That's my thoughts. Don't mean nothing. Folks, join us here next week. I hope Mr. Barry's back. E.T., I appreciate you filling in tonight. It was better. At least I didn't get harped on like Barry does with me. But we'll be right back here next week on the Locker Room Chat, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry, plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.